First of all, congratulations on Cruel Summer. Uh,
Thank you.
Let me start with Lexi, season two. What are audiences going to take away from it?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different things, so many different themes that we touch on in season two. I think that one of the biggest things is, the mere fact that every person in this story is taking control of their own destiny, and I hope that audience members are inspired to do the same thing. But what I love so much about season two is the mere fact that we keep that same tone, that same format, same structure of season one with the three different timelines. But the stakes are, higher up now. We have a death. Which adds a lot more mystery into the equation, as well as talking about some things that, are so very real to what is going on now in 2023. We're touching on the topics of toxic masculinity, of double standards between men and women, and how women are often sexualized. We're also talking about identity and how that's a big thing. The facades and masks that people will put on, and the lengths that they will go to protect themselves and their reputation, as well as class and the difference between people and their lives and their worldview and how they view how they view each other, essentially. So there's so many different things that, we're touching on in this story, but I'm really proud of the work that we did. And I think that, we did the show justice.
I think so too. I think it's always great when you can bring a little of what's really happening in the world into a series like this and do it with such great writing behind it.
Yeah, agreed. Absolutely.
Sadie, oh, I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Uh,
No, I was just agreeing.
Sadie Stanley, as I live and breathe. There you are. Uh, Tell me a little bit about your character, Megan, and how is she relating to what's happening in this little town?
Sure, of course. Megan is from Chatham, born and raised. She's 17 years old, and she lives with her mom. She has a single mom and a little sister, and so she had to grow up a little bit faster than maybe Luke or Isabella did. In some ways, she's been working hard since she was a kid, helping with bills, taking care of her little sister. She's very ambitious. She has big plans for her life. She wants to get out of Chatham, become a coder, and make a name for herself in that way. And so, yeah, when we first meet her, she's a little bit of a tomboy, a little bit of a goody two shoes, straight A student, a little more reserved. And then Isabella kind of comes to town and shakes things up for her. And Isabella is everything that Megan just doesn't like and doesn't want to be or doesn't know that she can be. But in the end, it's really intriguing for Megan. And, she can't help but be charmed by Isabella. And Isabella gives Megan the space and the encouragement to let loose a little bit and be a teenage girl and make mistakes and, not be just like a little adult. And yeah, we see how their friendship forms and blossoms, and then we see also the destruction of their friendship due to outside forces, and this big mystery that we're unfolding of Luke's death.
I think Lexi is a lot like her character. She comes in and shakes things up.
Yeah, in a sense.
uh, Now you have performed on Broadway. You're a theater person. Tell me the difference between acting for the stage and then acting for the camera.
Yeah, I mean, they're two very different worlds. My first introduction into the arts was musical theater, so that was kind of like the area that I was trained in first. And so I was so used to, make sure that every word is enunciated properly and that your diction is on point, like overly having to dictate certain lines, or making sure that the people in the back of the theater can hear you, versus then exiting that world and entering TV and film, which is kind of more grounded, more tapped into what's happening. You don't really have an audience physically in front of you, and you are given the space to be able to mess up and make mistakes. But I honestly think that hats off to the artists, especially in the musical theater world, because I think that it is the hardest thing that you can do as an actor, to be able to have to go on stage every single night and give a performance as if that was your first time doing it, in front of an audience, with the pressure of not having or not wanting to mess up. So that kind of thing, especially at the age of 11, definitely trained you for TV and film, and definitely it was a little interesting having to settle into it. But as I started to just work on it, I worked on my craft more and more, I was able to settle into the world of TV and film, and now I'm able to find that balance. So whenever I want to go back to musical theater, I think that I can dig deep down and find that back in myself.
And Sadie, you've done such great work on the Goldbergs, and I actually enjoy your voice work. honestly say that because I come from voice work myself, and
Hmm.
you do such a great job in the animation that you do.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Do you enjoy that part of your job?
Well, to be honest, I haven't done much of it, so I don't know. I mean, I think it's super cool. I think it's really fun. I love animated movies, so I would definitely like love to tap into that more. I've only gotten to do a little bit of it, but it was a good time. It's definitely different than being in front of the camera.
Between the two of you, who's going to direct an episode first?
I don't know. I think we're both pretty interested in that. Who
Yeah.
knows?
I don't know. With both, we could like
Yeah.
double direct.
Yeah,
Like,
maybe we
somebody
co-direct
directs
this.
the first episode and somebody directs the second.
Tag team it.
There you go.
Yeah. As we wrap up our interview, Lexi, what do you think audiences are going to take away from again this second season?
Yeah, I think that audiences, they're in for a treat. I think that a number one thing to keep in mind while you're going through this story is, to keep your eyes open. Like I said, a topic that we touch on is identity and how we perceive each other, the judgments that we place on other people and ourselves. And I think that what's so beautiful about this story is that regardless of what generation you're in, you can relate to these characters in some way, shape, or form. At the end of the day, they're all just authentic teenagers that are making mistakes, messing up along the way. And so whether you can look back and say, hey, I was like that as a teen, or you can say, hey, I'm like that now. I think that that's really beautiful for audiences to be able to connect. So I'm excited for people to go on the journey with us.
And Sadie, I'm going to give you the last word. What do you think audiences are going to pull away from Cruel Summer?
I hope they're just thoroughly entertained. I hope everybody, I mean, whether you're watching it week by week or you're going to wait for it all to be out to binge it, I hope that you just can't wait to see what happens next. I think it's set up in such a way that we're going to be suspicious of somebody new every episode. We're going to root for somebody else every episode. And I hope people just are entertained.
Well, it's a pleasure talking with you. You both are so good at your jobs. You got a huge career ahead of both of you, and I just can't wait to see what happens next in your lives.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate that.
You guys take care and have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
As well.
You too.